So, what is the shelter principle and how does it protect a buyer of goods from a consumer? This is again a statutory protection under 2-403 of the Uniform Commercial Code. But in our scenario where you have a secured party here who has a security interest in collateral held by the debtor, so this collateral secures the payment of the debt that the debtor owes to the secured party. Well, what happens when the debtor sells this collateral to someone? Well, we've talked about a couple of other exemptions, the buyer in the ordinary course and the 9-320B protection for purchasers of that collateral. But there's one notable situation where a purchaser of the collateral is not protected. That's where you have multiple or subsequent sales of the collateral. So say you have the debtor here who is a seller of goods of this kind, and they sell it to a purchaser in the ordinary course of business. So now you have a consumer here who purchased in the ordinary course of business and met all those requirements. Well, they now hold the property free and clear of a security interest. It protects them. It does not protect a subsequent party. So what if that consumer were to then sell the property to another consumer? Okay, so this consumer sells to another consumer or sells to another non-consumer. The buyer in the ordinary course exemption gives this consumer priority over the secured party. It doesn't completely wipe away the security interest. Well, this subsequent party who bought it from the buyer in the ordinary course, now they have the property and it could be still subject to the original party's security interest. The buyer in the ordinary course exemption doesn't help. The 9-320 does not help in this situation because it's in either situation, you have some disqualifying factor that's not met. In this case, the shelter principle can protect the purchaser in this situation. And this means that the purchaser of goods inherits the same rights as the seller of the goods had. So while this buyer in the ordinary course was the seller of the goods, they can't transfer that buyer in the ordinary course status, but what they can transfer is their rights as buyer in the ordinary course. So again, that would take one further step down and protect the purchaser of that consumer good. So in this method, the shelter principle transfers that interest that they have, that priority for subsequent sales in the goods.